Welcome to the unknown, and welcome to Assassin's Creed Origins. On October 27th, 2017, Assassin's Creed made a massive change to their entire gameplay style and format, and they released the first of, I'm going to call it the RPG trilogy of Assassin's Creed, where the game was drastically changed from how its original games were. Origins is the first one of the three: Odyssey, Valhalla, and as I just said, Origins. Out of these three, I feel like there's one that shines better than the rest, which, funny enough, is the first one. I feel like it's one of those things where they did a great job with their first attempt, but as they kept going, they did too much. Origins in 2024 is still, in my opinion, one of the top 5 Assassin's Creed games. Now, a lot of people, that can be kind of controversial when you go into top 5s, because everyone has an opinion. So no matter what you say, it's going to be a little controversial to some people. I think Assassin's Creed Origins deserves a place in the top 5. Am I a little annoyed that it's not like the original games? You know, maybe a little, because those were great childhood games for me and a lot of people. And they changed the style really drastically, but everything's got to change eventually, especially when you have as many installments to a franchise as Assassin's Creed. There's so many. So it's completely understandable to change your style. And it's needed. Eventually the same old thing gets boring. You can't do the same thing over and over again. So I actually like that they changed it. I just feel like they did too much with the next two games. But this is where they did good. They had this game doing really well. And then they messed up on the other games. Mirage, haven't really checked out, haven't got a chance to check that out or play Mirage. It looks okay, but that's really the best I can say. So, why is it that I think Assassin's Creed Origins is so great? There's quite a few reasons to get into that as we slide down this pyramid. I think we're about to fight some hyenas. So, a lot of people were kind of annoyed when the game's changed drastically, and there is quite a bit of differences. For one, the gameplay style, because it's an RPG style, it's very different. It's more open, and I guess you could say more free to how things are going to work. And that bothers a lot of people, because it doesn't keep the original format. But it actually works great, because it can also be seen as repetitive, like really repetitive, in the new RPG games. Ow. Okay. Because I'm gonna die. I had to focus for a second. Okay, you woke up way too quick. Okay, guys. Okay. Let's go. Come on. He dodging everything. Just keep attacking. Okay, so it's more free in the sense of, well, everything. It's different. There's like I'm trying to figure out the right word. The main Assassin's Creed almost has a direction you follow with how the game plays out. Really story-based, less focused on the open world. I'm not saying it's not, but it's less focused. You're kind of following almost a set path. You can do things a little bit on your own way. Whereas there is like no set path. And that can be a good thing. The combat's very different in this, I think it's worse, but also better at the same time. And the reason why I say that is because the older Assassin's Creed games, their combat felt more cinematic, and it kind of looked cooler a lot of the time. But it was very easy. It had the same format as Batman Arkham games. Just counter, parry, hit. Heavy hit, counter, parry, hit. And you can kind of like add a little bit of variety in your own way. Just how you fight, you run away, come back, do some assassinations, be stealthy, then go back into the fight. Like, you can kind of change it up a little bit. But there wasn't that much challenge. There wasn't really that much, like, once you mastered that, which it wasn't hard to master, once you mastered that parry and hit ability, it was super easy to do. Whereas this does have more open for a little more challenge. It's less cinematic. It doesn't look as cool in my opinion, but it still has it has challenge to it, and it still has it still gets easy, because once you get into the whole looting part of the game where you're collecting better gear, which we will showcase here, as you play, you find gear, and you're gonna unlock better equipment, which that makes the game easy, just like the older games got pretty easy in combat. So in a different way, it still ends up being the same. It still ends up being easy and not overly challenging. But this isn't really a game meant to be overly challenging. It's not what Assassin's Creed is. You can play on a high difficulty, and you can try playing. You can add more variety to your play style, in my opinion, on these games. You have to change. You yourself have to add the variety to your playstyle so it's not repetitive. Whereas the original games, they could get very repetitive, but there wasn't a lot you could do to add variety to your playstyle. Whereas this one, you can. And because it has less stealth features like the original games have, you have to think and strategize harder to plan your attacks on bases and outposts and things like that for your stealth. It also has, actually, this is probably one of my biggest flaws for it directly, in my opinion. I love the parkour in Assassin's Creed. It's a very cool aspect. I loved Dying Light, and that's a parkour game too. I like the parkour in games. I think it's very cool. Now, the fact that this game doesn't have, like, it doesn't have a crazy smooth parkour system, it kind of sucks, because I do miss that. The parkour of, like, Unity, for example, is just beautiful to watch and do, and you feel cool while you're playing. Assassin's Creed Origins' parkour is very, very basic, just simple stuff. They added the whole you can climb anything, which removes a little bit of the fun. And then the whole you just jump, swing. Like, it's very basic parkour stuff. Now, it looks decent and it runs very smooth, so that's why I'm not going to hate on it too much. It isn't as cool as it has been in the past. But it's also not directly, it's also not a bad idea that they went with more simpler parkour. Simply because of the fact that the setting is not great for super fancy, crazy parkour system. There's lots of little areas like this which allow for decent parkour ability. There's some decent options you can do, as you can see, but problem here is it's not that much area and that much cool variety of rooftops and zip lines and all types of shit like that you can use as a parkour playground. The setting here is not a great parkour playground. There's not as many options in the world for you to do. Why am I so low on health? I don't know. But if you look at the original Assassin's Creed games, they're very cluttered with buildings and things, and that just creates such a great playground for parkour. Whereas if you look here, there's so much open space. You can't do parkour anywhere out there. There's barely any. And then it's just, the map is, it's less focused on the parkour and more focused on world exploration, which it does very well. Very, very well. Egypt is, in my opinion, one of the coolest settings I've ever seen done in a game, and they did it amazingly. The map is ginormous. I have explored this before in other playthroughs. This one I have not, because look, it's so big. It is such a massive map. So much to explore. All the areas have their own side missions. They all have their own secrets, their own things to discover. They all have their own little events, and just all this shit that you just get to go out on your own and find. And even if you're not even playing missions, you can just wander and you can have a great time and find cool stuff. Now there's a lot of traveling, but that that's kind of if you got to be interested in doing that, like hopping on your travel system, which is your horse, and just wandering and exploring. And because there's so much that you can find and do, it does make it kind of fun. And the graphics are quite good still. For 2024, the graphics, they look good. They pass to me. They might not be the most detailed textures ever or anything, but in 2024, this still passes as better than some games that come out now. So the graphics aren't an issue. That's not something that is an actual problem to the game. Even for it being a couple years old, they still run just fine. And then, as I was saying with the map, it's very well done, and there you can still do lots of parkour in the game, but it's kind of because of how it's scattered out. If you look at the map, it's kind of just a lot of open space with lots of cool little things to discover, but no really big cities or cluttered areas to do parkour. But it's scattered throughout the entire game is little city areas like this, or like this, or bigger ones. There's little ones everywhere, like the one I'm in right here. This is a pretty good one for some parkour, and there's lots more that I don't have unlocked. It's just a massive open area of exploration scattered with little bits of parkour. Whereas the older games were like a gigantic parkour playground scattered with a couple things to check out and explore. So they kind of just reversed it, which is good because they changed how the combat system works, how the HUD works, how that there's now looting and rarities, and they made a good change. They decided to do a change to the game, and they went all out and changed everything. They still kept the story. It's pretty decent Assassin's Creed story, and I think Bayek, the main character of this one, is actually one of the best protagonists of Assassin's Creed. I very much enjoy Bayek as a character versus other people. Like, I'm not a big fan of Cassandra or Alexios from Odyssey. I'm not a massive fan of Eivor from Valhalla. Bazim seems pretty simple from Mirage, not Barrage. Edward Kenway is one of my favorites from Assassin's Creed Black Flag. And then Connor Kenway, he's decent, he's pretty good. Like, the characters have been a thing throughout that a lot of people go through. Like, it's been hard to beat Ezio as a character. Ezio is one of the best. But they did good with Bayek. He's a very interesting character. He's got an interesting story, nice little voice crack, awesome. But the game does all that well. The story's good. I very much enjoy the character to the game. Did I say sleeping? Oh, 200 images. I very much enjoy the character to the game. I enjoy a lot of the differences from the original games. Like the combat system, it is fun. It's a well done RPG system. It works. The combat system isn't crappy. It's just not as cinematic. And the variety you can add to your playstyle is good. These games get seen as very repetitive, but as I've said, you just gotta create your own variety to make it not as repetitive. That's something I feel like a lot of people just instantly judge a game for. So all around, I do think Assassin's Creed Origins in 2024 is one of the better Assassin's Creed games to go play. Because yes, the originals are amazing, but they've gotten to a point where they're almost outdated in a way. They feel stiff. When you go back and play an older game after you've played a newer game, it feels stiff. The controls, they just feel, you feel more, it feels like you're struggling to play. It's just hard to do. I don't know why. It's just a feeling for me. Whereas this, it still plays like a new game. And it's a better one to play. I would much rather play this over Odyssey or Valhalla. Valhalla's a great Vikings game. It's not really an Assassin's Creed in my opinion. And there's way too much to do, you just get overwhelmed. This game, there's a bit to do, but you can kind of control it, and you're not going to get overwhelmed. And Odyssey, it's a decent game, because it's great setting, That place is awesome. Greece is great. And there isn't a lot of horrible things about the gameplay, but it just doesn't top this, in my opinion. Remember, this is all opinionated. If there's things you like about Odyssey better, which a lot of people did like Odyssey. I'm not against it. It's not a bad game. Feel free to comment down below and say what you liked. But yeah, let's end this video by clearing an outpost and try to be fully stealthy. Let's see how this goes. I got rid of all my sleep darts on stupid hyenas. God damn it.
Best not to draw attention here.
Okay, best not to draw attention. We should probably clear the fire so they don't call in reinforcements. There's a guy here. Where's he going? He's gonna stand there? Not a great idea. Let's see. Oh, I forgot you can control the arrows. That almost sucked. See, we're missing something here. There's supposed to be a camp leader, and he's a high-level guy. I don't know where he's at, though. Don't set the alarm. This is a very tiny base. How am I supposed to do this stealthily? Keep falling on the damn hay bales. Oh, I totally didn't mention this. I forgot to completely. One of my favorite things about the entire combat system in this game is the archery combat. It's beautiful. So well done. So well done. The archery combat is just amazing. You got 4 different types of bows: warrior bows, light bows, predator bows, and hunting bows, and they all change how you play, which is so perfect, and they are great additions for the stealth gameplay. You pick the right ones and you can do your approaches on your stealth very differently. Okay, we might have alerted them. I think we're in trouble. Did you just open the gate? I think he did. Dude, you don't know where I am. What? I failed this stealth approach very bad. What are you trying to do? Okay, that's just embarrassing.
Got you.
You know what?
Alarm! Over here! Hey, stop!
Let's just get rid of this. I don't know where the camp leader is.
Brothers!
I feel like that's something that's missing. Guess I killed him already. Oh no, I did kill him already. Cool. Didn't even know. Wait, who's here? Oh, shit. Come on. There we go. Alright. So yeah, I was totally trying to mention, bow combat's great. This is one of my favorite parts. It just feels satisfying. These are great. That is, if you love like ranged combat and bows in games, these are so good. It's almost worth playing the game just for the bow combat, and the archery in this game is beautiful. Recommend it almost just for that. But Assassin's Creed Origins in 2024 is quite possibly one of the absolute best games you could play as either a new game or a game you've played before that you should come back to, because it still plays so well. It still looks good. The story's still great. There's lots of amazing side stories. And if you wanted to get into an Assassin's Creed in general, I highly recommend this, because it still is an Assassin's Creed. It still feels like an Assassin's Creed. But it's newer and more modernized, and doesn't feel like an old stiff game. I do recommend checking out old Assassin's Creed if you've never played them, because they are classics. But you should definitely check out this one. And if you're gonna pick one of the three out of the RPG trilogy, I recommend Origins out of Odyssey or Valhalla, because it's just a better game. But it's all my opinion. Everyone's got different opinions. Whatever yours is, feel free to comment down below. Don't know why I'm actually pointing at the ground. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you in the next one.